Well, we're getting some roses planted in the garden this year, even though it is a little bit late. But you know, I think we're all late in our gardens this year in Oklahoma because it has been so cold and wet. But we've had these roses for a while and they've been in cold storage, so they've not really budded out, which is really a good way to keep those roses if you've gotten them earlier and hadn't got them out yet. So today we really do need to get them planted, but I want to talk a little bit about planting roses and choosing the type of rose. We actually have two types of roses here today as far as the way they've been packaged, and I think that's very important to know because on the rose you really are going to get what you really pay for. I like to plant a rose that really is dormant, such as this, one in which the buds have not come out yet, and also one that has about 3 to 5 really good, strong, bright green canes on the bush itself. This is really a #1 grade rose. It's the top of the line roses, and that's the one you're probably going to pay the most for, but it's also going to be the rose that you get the most flowers and have the best success with this first year. As all of these roses are graded at the nursery, at the rose nursery, depending on the size, the condition, and the number of canes, then the grades will continue to go down. And so you may see some roses such as this that have already been prepackaged. They probably will have only 1 or 2 canes on them, and maybe those canes are very, very small, such as this. This is really a #1 grade rose. This is about a $1.95 rose, and so that's really what you're getting when you buy this, is that you're getting a $1.95 rose. But it's not to say that it will not perform for you, it's just that you're not going to have quite the vigor that first year. It may be a little bit tougher getting it through that first summer, and you're certainly not going to get the flowers that you'll get on the #1 rose, such as the bare roots that we have here. And then of course you could also purchase the roses that have already been potted up in containers. They're going to cost you a little bit more, but at least you know that you're getting a good rose there because they've already started their growth process. When I plant roses, I do like to plant those that are dormant rather than those in which the foliage have already come out on them. The roses, as you get them, if they are bare rooted such as this, should be soaked in water overnight before you plant. Then we can come in and trim off any broken roots, such as this one that's been broken. I want to trim those off and then trim the ends of the other roots just to get some new tissue there and encourage branching of the roots on the bottom. Now on some of these roses I would want to come in perhaps and even do a little bit of pruning on the top. I'd like to have all the canes on the rose growing outward, and it looks like we're going to have some beginning to cross here. So I'm going to go ahead and take this off right now and maybe cut this one back just a little bit because the ends of them are scarred a little. We still have some really good bright green tissue underneath that. And now I'm ready to plant my rose. Roses do best in Oklahoma in a full exposure as far as light is concerned. They will do well in a morning sun or a early afternoon sun if we have maybe a shade tree like we have here on the west side that gives them a little bit of afternoon protection, a bit of wind protection, but they get at least a half a day full sun, they're going to perform much, much better. Roses like, of course, a very well-drained, highly organic matter soil. In our little rose garden here, we've got soil really worked up well because we've had other things in here before, but I prepared the hole, and I prepared the hole adequately in width and diameter so that it will really accommodate the spread of these rose roots. I don't want to cramp them in there. In the bottom of the hole, I've gone ahead and filled with organic matter, either peat moss you could use, or you can use good compost. We've got some really good compost here at Oklahoma Gardening Studios, and so that's what I've used. I've dug my hole so that the hole, when planted, the rose will be just slightly above the ground level as far as where the graft union is concerned. I don't want that exposed too much, more than 1 inch above the surface, but I don't want it buried more than 1 inch either. So just about ground level is where I want to come up with this in the end. Then a good way to do this is to make a little mound in the bottom of the hole out of my compost, sort of put this rose over the mound such as that, spread my roots out good. That way I've got soil all the way up underneath those roots, and then start filling in there with my compost and my soil that I've taken out. When I get it about halfway filled, I'll come in and tap it well and give it my first watering, so that I'll be sure that I get that water or that soil down very well against those roots. I get that bottom of that hole well moist so that the roots will go ahead and immediately start growing. And then finish filling it on up with the soil and the compost, so that my final level on this has my graft union just slightly above the soil line. Notice also that I've mounted the soil up around the base of the rows. This will give some drainage away from the plant itself, but yet I've left a little bit of a ditch here so that when I water and get this row started, we'll have a reservoir there for the water. We have a lot of different rose types that do well in Oklahoma. Of course, there's the climbing rose, the bush rose, the hybrid tea rose. This is the hybrid tea rose. It's the most popular rose. It will get about 4 to 6 feet tall, have a nice big large flower, single flower per stem. This particular variety that I'm planting here is Double Delight, a very good all-American selection hybrid tea rose. We also have the Floribunda rose, which is much like a hybrid tea, except it's smaller and it has a cluster of flowers at the end of the stem rather than just one. And then the Grandiflora, which is a cross between the hybrid tea and the Floribunda, also has clusters of flowers and is a much smaller rose and is used a lot for shrubs and for more mass plantings. I hope you enjoy roses in your landscape. If you don't have any, I would certainly suggest perhaps that you plant some even this late in the season. Remember though that roses do take a lot of care. They not only take care during the growing season through a lot of spraying, particularly control black spot and some of our other diseases and insects on roses, but even during the early spring and late winter, you'll need to prune and do some maintenance on the roses. There's nothing more enjoyable than a really nice rose in your landscape, but there's also nothing more distractful than a neglected rose. So be sure that if you're going to have roses, you're committed to taking care of them. I do also want to mention that we're fortunate this year here at the Oklahoma Gardening Studios and at the OBGA complex out here that we will be having a rose trial. The Polson Pacific Rosary in Oregon, which is an American subsidiary of a Danish rose company, has donated 45 varieties of roses for a trial garden. Those will be going out. We'll be showing those later in the season, and I think you'll really enjoy seeing all those different types of roses in our trial garden this year.
We hope you've enjoyed this classic from the Oklahoma Gardening Vault. Remember, even though these tips and techniques are timeless, there's always something new to learn in the world of gardening. By subscribing to both Oklahoma Gardening and OK Gardening Classics, you'll have access to a wealth of gardening knowledge, both classic and contemporary.